The following is a transcript between Matías De Stefano, referred to as me, and his higher self, referred to as I am, originally produced on November 10th, 2020, in the mental week under the constellation of Scorpio, examining through the ankle chakra. Me. After a crisis, there is nothing more normal than asking ourselves, where am I? And immediately we come to more questions. Why did this happen? What is it for? What did I do? Is it worth it? What if maybe I have to leave it all? Did everything I've done so far help, or was it in vain? It's normal to wonder all of this when you lose your way, when everything you considered normal suddenly ends. The normal thing in humans is to believe that when they live a crisis, nothing they have done has been worth it, because no matter how much they have moved, they have ended badly and suffering. That is a very short-sighted view. You are so focused on your emotions of the moment, so on the feeling of the presence, that you interpret past and future with the same emotions. It is there when everything seems to lose meaning, and therefore you do not have a point of reference, of origin or destination. Me, it is a feeling of total loss. I am, and that is precisely what it is about, perdition. Me, in what sense? I am, tell me, what is discovery? Me, it is removing what is covering something and seeing the covering for the first time in my life. I am, so you had no prior idea of what was there. Me, no, otherwise I wouldn't be discovering it. It would be rediscovering. I am, so what does discover imply from an emotional perspective? Me, well, I think it implies enthusiasm, ecstasy, joy, surprise, fulfillment. I am, so something that you didn't know before causes many positive things in your life. Me, it depends. What if I discover something good or a horrible secret? I am, both will lead you to emotions that will exhaust your way of living. They will change what you did previously believe, and you would have to adapt to the new things that you just saw. A discovery is a truth that comes to light, regardless of how horrible or beautiful what was discovered was. Me, yes, that's right. I am. So when you discover it, what you previously had as knowledge ceases to be useful, and you need new mental, emotional, and physical tools to adjust to this reality that you just discovered. I do. I am. Without having anything before, so you have to leave everything that you brought with you to take in new things. Me, that's right. I am. In other words, everything you brought is now all to give. Do you remember the word that we got from this concept? Me, forgive me. I am, exactly. Forgiveness is the positive concept in which the soul, the consciousness, recognizes that they must release what they were attached to. Let it go in a loving and transforming process. But what if I don't want to let it go and life forces me to change through a crisis? Me, I lose everything. I am. There you find a negative aspect of the word forgive, which is perdition. The word has the same etymology as perdondor, meaning the same, but in this case it evolved to the verb lose in the Latin language and lose in Saxon language, which means to cut, divide, or leave apart. Me. They mean the same thing, of course. One arises from the inner will out of the love and awareness of liberation, forgive, and the other arises from the external pressure out of fear and unconsciousness of punishment, perdition. I am. The feeling of being lost in life only highlights those moments of unconsciousness in which you blame the external world for your misfortunes, believing you're a prisoner of a destiny that you yourself have traced in another dimension. The crisis shows you that you do not know everything, that you must discover yourself. To do this, you must consider why life needs you to lose yourself. Everything begins in the security of the known path, when you believe that you are knowledgeable, you wise of your walk, and have made what you see in your routine. You cling to what you know and can control and design your life accordingly. The attachment to the path and to the known life generates attachment to the mission and destiny, generating an idea of security in the purpose toward which you are heading, even if it is nothing more than a projection of your desires and not of your truths. Yes, when the moment of truth arrives, nothing that you have created for yourself by belief will allow you to fulfill your purpose, because your true mission in life is to tune in with your essence, not with your personality. When you project your destiny based on the desires of the personality, covering more and more of your essence, the force of the universe will pressure you to discover it and truly see what's in you. Me, you are a precious gem covered in shit, said the reptilian. I am. And do you understand him now? Your life is about discovering yourself, about understanding that this shit is nothing more than the compost for your life, and that for fear of shining like a gem, you have done nothing but cover it up, taking away the purpose of the compost and the gem alike. The crisis is that bucket of cold water that removes all of the shit with the hard and unexpected blow, leaving the gem unprotected. There you find that you will build your entire life on the basis of the fertilizer of your personality and not of the gem of your essence. And then you find yourself weak, without any meaning, because everything that you have built was for your compost and for the compost of others, but not for you, for your truth. Then you have no choice but to leave everything, to let go by force, because life cries out for you to be yourself. The hardest attachment is leaving everything you believed in both your past and your future, and letting go of everything is called bane. Me, I have felt lost many times in life, trying to do what others wanted in search of myself. I have lost myself. It's a horrible feeling. Sometimes one gets lost in one's own thoughts, losing the logic of all things. Sometimes it gets lost in the emotion of the soul, entering a deep pit with no way out. Sometimes you get lost with your body, not knowing where you are or finding your way back. And I have lived them all. Tell me. Me, I remember the time that my guides told me that I should do ayahuasca. I refused for months. They said that I was so projected in earthly life doing things for my personality that I couldn't hear my spiritual essence, and I needed a tool from earth to do it, but I didn't want to. And I suddenly began to feel that nothing made sense. My mind felt a huge emptiness, strange, directionless. Even my internal GPS vanished, nowhere to go. I was in Mendoza, Argentina. And when I went out to the street to go home, I realized that I couldn't understand where north was. I went back inside to the boys' house, and I told them that I couldn't go because I didn't know where I was. And it was the first time that I consciously experienced doom. This led me to travel to Chile to do my first ayahuasca ceremony. And the 3 days before, everything that I had with me was stolen. My guides told me, "You start from zero." And that's how I went. I felt all year that my mission, my idea of myself was not the same, and everything that I believed about myself had changed, and the concepts of the universe, of purpose, of my beliefs. I saw everything from a complete vision. I turned my head completely. They told me that the person that should have lived at least 3 points, 0, in his life for each of the bodies, mental, emotional, and physical, the cries that led to a state of total perdition, of reboot. And the second, me. I think the second involved the heart, and in 2017, for me, was terrible in that sense. The same week that I started the Camino del Dragon in the Patagonia, my grandmother died, someone who meant a lot to me in my life. I felt that I had left on my mission and I had abandoned her in those last days, and that destroyed me. It accompanied me all the way until I fell into that depression and collapse in Mexico that made me return home and to be autistic for a month. Coming to my senses, I traveled to Europe, where I ended up making my trips to Mount Kailash and Brittany, which took me to Switzerland to find the love of the void. There, I ended up emotionally collapsing, and after that, I felt like my system had rebooted. I am, and the third? Me. Well, I guess it started with Mount Kailash facing death and continued in Scotland and on Mount Storr, the Isle of Skye. At the first sight, I almost died of a stroke and frostbite at 7,000 meters doing a Cora trail, and I literally began to see the light at the end of the tunnel. In the next one, I got lost in the mountains along the winding path, and the clouds covered me, leaving a terrifying Markaba landscape in which the precipices began to be slippery, and I couldn't find my way back. I was trapped on a cliff where I couldn't see anything for 2 meters, and if I moved, I might fall into the void. There, I felt that this could be the day of my death. I was afraid, I won't deny it. My whole life passed by me, and I felt each of my cells trying to defend itself in tension. But when I relaxed and meditated, a cloud moved and showed me the way, and it was hard to get out of there, but I made it. That day I wrote my will. I felt that I never thought that I might die and that I should be more careful. I am, and when you get to the end of things, the only thing left before are possibilities. People associate the word perdition with defeat, almost like a fall into the infernal abysses in which the soul has no return. It does not find the right path. However, for the universe, which is a creative being, there is no interest in the straight path. The universe imagines possibilities, imagines diversity, and what it tries to discover is more of itself, to find what it cannot see clearly from the beginning. This is how he traces past history. You need to lose yourself in order to find yourself. Me. That phrase is key. The universe is at a single point, and everything comes together there, and it is inevitable to think that it has created all of this in order to discover what he is capable of. That is, that he needed to lose himself in order to find himself, and he needed to give his all. Yes, it is a new option. I am. One gets lost in life because he has created a destiny that is not the real one, and when you lose everything that you have built, it is when you discover the possibilities of what truly lies in you. Downfall, then the universe taking you out of your mental, emotional, and physical comfort zones so you can see other ways. Me. I now take those moments more clearly. I see now that getting desperate when getting lost and what happened to me in the mountain leads to nowhere, and that the solution is to sit down and to think about where you're going. The moment of perdition is the moment zero of the restart, not the loss or the end, but the reunion and the beginning. I am, and when your soul is lost again in life, now you will know what you must do. Me, let go of all destiny, and remember that I will always find myself inside.
My heart's